my name's Quincy Tamatoi Tangio. I'm from Niue in the Cook Islands. So in the Cook Islands I'm from Rarotonga and Atataki. And then my Niuean side, it's actually Mutoro, Olofi, and got a bit of PNG in my bloodstream.
Kia ora tātou, nei rā te mihi kawana ki a tātou. Ko Carolee Tangio tōku nei ingoa no Ngāti Whātua ki Kaipara ahau. So my name's Carolee. I'm Quincy's better half, the only half, the love of your life.
The boss.
Just kidding.
The boss.
I'm from Ngāti Whātua ki Kaipara, and I also have Scottish and Irish ancestry as well.
We talk about, we took a bit of a pun on starting up a company, construction company, because we were still young then. 2007, we looked at the risk, and I think the biggest risk for us and for myself was, am I going to be guaranteed 40 to 45 hours a week? And so, we thought, well, we got the drive behind us. If we get a couple of whānau jobs, get us ticking over, maybe it might grow from there, and which it did. The first contract we got was Motat, Western Springs, and so we started doing all the maintenance works there. Then that led on to the projects, then that led on to the bigger commercial stuff. So a lot of it grew from our whānau, and then building the confidence, learning the paperwork, but also with Kara jumping on board then, it was a big learning curve for her to do the books, learning about the taxes, just so much to take in, because we were still so young, and we were a young family having our boy. For me, it was always about pushing myself, trying to do the best that I can, but making sure I'm learning along the way. And we made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we persevered. There's always, we have our times when we talk about things, and we're always going to have different views on things. But I think at the end of the day, if it's always going to contribute to their common goal, their goal that we want, sort of made it more clearer. Because when I was at that age, I couldn't say, one day I'm going to buy me a muscle car, one day I'm going to buy a house, one day I'm going to.
Hang on. You bought that with your first pay packet.
Yeah.
He came home at Christmas time. We were waiting for his holiday pay so we could go do our Christmas shopping, and he bought home an $800 car. That, oh my gosh, I was like, what the heck? But that was his dream, and so yeah, that was cool for you to be able to achieve that. We might not have talked for a couple of weeks, but he was happy.
Yeah, I think I got paid $1,600 out of my holiday pay, and the car cost me $800. And it was an old Ford Fairlane.
It was beautiful.
Ford Fairlane, and so yeah. I didn't tell Cara, look what we got for Christmas. But that sort of always, for me, owning an old school V8 car, one day I'll get it. Yeah. And then in time we actually got a Mustang and a Ford, and like having a dream to own our own house. We bought our first house quite young, but those dreams when I was young, I thought, man, how am I going to get to those stages? How am I going to get to that? And it was just that drive, and I think just having Cara there at my side, guiding me through that stage, having a strong-minded lady like Cara keeps me on the balance. Because at Man Up with Grandma, it was always about the boys rugby league, boys rugby, going to the school socials, boys, go out, boys, until you have a wahine come into the scene, and she keeps it straight. So that was a big learning curve for me as well as a person.
To be honest with you, it's been great because prior to working with Mana Within, we were working on our own. So the mana literally was within. But since partnering with Mana Within, even when you've got your apprenticeships with BCITO and stuff like that, it's compartmentalised. So they do the mahi, they make sure that the boys are doing what they need to do. They assist them as much as they can. But we know through our own experience it takes more than that. It takes somebody being your champion, and that's the part that we've loved, is that we've felt that not only are we championing the boys and helping them to achieve what they want to do, but we also have somebody else, Mana Within, coming in to support the guys, and and holding them accountable with their whānau as well, which, you know, sometimes we can't do that. There's a bit of a line, you know, when you're the employer, you know, can't ring up mum and say, bloody hell, he hasn't come to work again 4 days in a row. But, you know, you guys can. Mana Within takes that, eliminates some of that challenge for us. And what I love is that the boys know that it's genuine, because you're not only just, you know, you're asking questions that are going to help them succeed. You know, what are the challenges? What are the pain points? What are the things that they're finding difficult? And aha ko te aha, you're finding a way to lift them up out of that, to actually overcome them and then succeed. You know, and we know that not all of the boys that we bring through are going to end up succeeding, but I feel that since we've been working with Mana Within, we know that the outcome's a lot more promising.
Yeah, what I like about Mana Within is they got a mentor feel to the boys, as like a father figure, mentor. Sometimes some of our young apprentices don't want to talk openly about what, you know, outside of work, what's happening at home. They don't want to talk to the bosses about what's happening, what's really happening. And I think what Mana Within, what they do in terms of a support system, is that, okay, let the employers do what they need to do as a business and help support our staff, and then having Mana Within with the leadership group that they have, for them to come in and say, well, look, you know, your book works here, cool, you know, we can work in this area, we can work in that area for theory or practical, but also they ask the questions about, you know, how's everything in general, how's everything in general, you know, what's happening, you know, what are you up to nowadays, like, you know, having work and theory and practical, but also getting to know the boys more about how their wairoa is. And I think that's important, and I think there's not enough services that's out there that's supporting our young, our leaders. That's going to be coming through to be. They'll take over the next generation of our leaders that we have now. I think there's not enough of that mentoring, and that's what Mana Within brings to the table for us. And what we love about the support system is that they're not only there for the bookwork and theory and practical, but also getting to know them, what's happening at home, what's happening in their whānau. Because when we try to sometimes ask questions like that, you know, we find some of the staff go into a bit of a shell.
If we were thinking about other supports, it would be that Mana Within was resourced more to be able to give some of the things that we can't. For example, you know, tools. Tools are expensive. And in order for the boys to succeed and to do well and to go onto the sites that we need to go on and to be able to do the things that they need to do in order to pass what they need to pass, then they need to have the appropriate tools. And so for us, that's continuously, you know, we're needing to buy tools for the guys that that comes out of their wages. So, you know, if we're talking about eliminating barriers and we want to set people up for success, then for me that would be one. What do you reckon?
I think another one will be a practical aspect that Mana Within could bring in, because our site foremans on our various sites, we're running a job, us as employers, I'm pushing my site foremans, right, this is a deadline, this is what we need to meet, the client wants it done by this time. So our supervisors are just going boom, 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 you know, they're not really having the one-on-one time, because they're running crews, they're running 5 to 8 man crews, then I might have 1 or 2 apprentices there, so they're not getting the full-on one-to-one sit down and go through the plans. Okay, this is what we got, this is the situation. More importantly, these are the reasons why we don't do it like that. If Mana Within could bring in a practical aspect to, say if it was wall framing, and so our boys are doing wall framing at the moment, they're doing their houses, but they're not getting the one-to-one. So like if there were practical classes, if it was, okay, we got on Tuesday this day, boys, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a 2-hour session just on wall framing, but sitting down with them one-to-one, or if it's in a 3-man group and breaking everything all down, these are the reasons why. This is what you get on a job site as a plan, but hey, this is a mini version of what it is, and this is the bottom plates, this is your studs, these are our nogs, these are the centers. When you're looking at abbreviations, this abbreviation is to this. But at the moment, in our construction, practically, our site foremen, because I'm pushing my boys, and the boys know they're on time frames they need to meet. I don't think our apprentices are getting the full-on support and learnings for them to read the plans. When it comes to the training organisations like BCITO, but sometimes they get to site and they're trying to see where the boys are, and our boys might be going, look, we've done the walls and that, but I'm still not quite sure. But they've done 15 houses, but they're still asking the question. I'm not sure why we did it like that, and that's just because, and that's not our apprentices' fault. It's just that in construction in New Zealand, it's about getting the job done to meet the client's time frame so we get paid. But if we had more practical service from Manawa, then that'd be great. It takes a lot of pressure off as employees, as well as our site supervisors.
When Quincy was doing his apprenticeship, and when he was with Torian, they had a mentor, Māori Mike.
Māori Mike,
was he with Torian or?
Torian, yeah.
Yeah, and I see what Māori Mike did for Quincy is almost like what Mana Within is doing for our boys. So he had that mentorship, throughout his entire apprenticeship, but it wasn't by design, it was by default, because that's what Māori Mike did. He wrapped the boys up and he gave them the things that he needed. And our foremans and stuff do that as well. But for us, I feel like what he instilled in Quincy, not only that workmanship and making sure that Quincy always thought about the quality product that he was producing. It's not just about the dollar. It's about what we're creating, what we're building at the end of the day. But that mentorship that he gave Quincy, really shaped the man that he became as well. And not only that, we also lived with the whānau in Orake, the hawk whānau, and there was our kaumātua there, our koro, is sorry, I get a bit teary because he's passed away now, but
Bob Hawk
also, and their whānau, they were so good for us. Did the same kind of thing, they gave that mentoring that we needed as a young couple as well, and young family, had a baby, and Quincy would come home from working all day, and then he'd put on his apron and then they'd work at home, and that house has still got rooms that Quincy and Bob built together. All the things that they did at home it was perfect, because it gave Quincy that confidence outside of outside of the classroom and into the practical application, and then knowing that he can do it for himself. He always encouraged Quincy to think about more.
I think it's that having kaumātuas like Bob Hawke and Mike Atkins. For me growing up through school and that, I wasn't always had the best mates in that, but coming into the work mode and the construction, having that leadership and me being under his wing, man, I had a lot of disagreements with site foremen, but Mike would bring me in, he'd bring me in, and he pretty much disciplined me in work and outside of work, so he was also like a father figure for me. So I don't think if I had those two men,